Hi, good afternoon. Hi, Juan Carlos. How are you?
Hi, Noah. Fine, and you? How are you?
Fine, thank you. Well, this is Ainhoa Manero from Externa Abogados with Juan Carlos, like every week. I hope you are all joining now. So sorry for the inconvenience because today we were interviewing a Golden Visa family, but they recently had a baby and they were having some issues with the baby, so we will interview them or tomorrow or most likely the next week, so they can share the experience regarding a golden visa and well, some other things that are interesting because they were having double nationality. So it's also a good issue to talk about because you know that if you want the Spanish citizenship, you can, if you are from Latin America, you can do it after 2 years of residency. But if you have the residency as a US citizen, it is more difficult for you to get the advantages of the 2 years, even though you can show the other passport, because the new law says that you only can take the advantage of the 2 years for nationality if you have the residency for with that passport. This, in fact, they are not applying this. So, in fact, they are even give it to you the nationality after 2 years, even if you had the residency with the passport of the US or any other country that is not from Latin America, Filipinas, and Portugal. But I feel it a little risky because even though they are not following the law, because the director of the area that resolves this nationality has decided not to follow it. Well, really, if they change their minds, the law says that you need to have the residency with the nationality of Latin American. So this is our recommendation from our law firm. If you can, get the residency with the passport that you want to take advantage of for the nationality. Right, Juan?
That's it. Yes.
We are doing several, well, in this case, non-lucrative, I remember him, but this golden visa, several residencies that even that we are applying in the country that that nationality asks for 10 years of residency in Spain, we are asking for the consulate to issue the visa with the other passport, just because of this, just because we want to be safe, because the law says that really we have to do it that way. In any case, don't panic if you want to get this advantage, because if you already have the residency and it's with the other passport, it is true that they are doing an open interpretation or understanding of the law, and they are letting you getting that advantage. But if you are listening us and you haven't applied for residency yet, our recommendation is do it from the beginning with the other passport, so you will be 100% sure that you won't have any problem. So Juan, I think we should explain a little golden visas, because today the interview was about golden visas. We can explain a little that, and then we go to all the questions of any kind of residency. And next week or tomorrow we will do the interview for Luisa and family.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Juan, what? Explain me the golden visa, and I will ask you questions.
The golden visa, okay, or the investment visa, okay, that is like the technical name of this kind of permits. It applies for someone who is willing to make an investment in Spain. Almost they think that it's only for investment on a property, but it's not, okay? You have many options, not only a property. So first we have to distinguish the different options of a golden visa. So the main one, of course, will be to buy a property that it will be above 500,000 euros.
A property or several properties, okay?
That's it.
So if you buy 5 apartments of 100 euro each, it will be okay too.
Yeah, as long as there are 500,000 euros that are without any kind of mortgage, without any kind of taxes, that are free, that 500,000 euros you make that investment with that amount of money, then you will be able to get this kind of permit. Okay, so that is the first or the main thing of the golden visa. But you can also have a golden visa if you make an investment on a bank deposit of 1 million euros. Okay, or if you do it on in shares in companies in Spain, or if you buy debt from the public bank in Spain, public debt of 2 million euros. Okay, so you have these three options, and there is another one. If you make an investment on a general interest project, okay, this is
Exactly.
very little known. Okay, this general interest projects, almost nobody knows about it, but there are these three kind of investments. Okay, so just to remember, the property one, the bank, the debt, and you will have the project of general interest. Okay,
And the shares too. So we have the bank of 500,000 the properties of 500,000 euros without mortgages. You can buy it through a company, okay? That this is a doubt that a lot of people have. The deposit of 1 million euro, but also 1 million euro in shares, and that can be in the stock market or not. Okay, so one or the other are okay. And then, as Juan Carlos said, the 2 million euros in public debt, and the other one that nobody talks a lot about it, which is the in a general interest, because it's normally are big investments, but they don't necessarily have to be so big. Maybe it is for general interest for 400,000 euros and it can be approved. So those are all the investments that you can apply. So you can do and apply for a golden visa. What is usually the case really is that we normally bring people with a non-lucrative visa and then they change to a golden visa. This didn't happen with the family that I wanted to interview today, that we have to do it next week. They came as a tourist, okay? And because it is possible to come as a tourist, and being a tourist here, you can do the investment and apply for the golden visa directly from here. But a lot of people, if they haven't found yet the investment that they want to do, sometimes you don't know about the non-lucrative visa, and it's a good option because if you have that money, it is sure that you have the money for the non-lucrative, which is much less. It is 30,000 for the principal plus 10,000 euros per each family member, and showing that and all the criminal records. But the main thing is this economic means. They will give you a non-lucrative visa for a year, and in that year, normally it is the time in which you find the apartment or the bank where you want to do the deposit. You do it, and then we change to golden visa, because changing from one to another is fine, and you don't lose time of residency. So if you want to apply for a Spanish nationality in 2 years, or for permanent residency in 5 years, it's not that because you come with a non-lucrative and then you change to golden visa, you lose the time that you've been here as a non-lucrative. Everything adds and you add up everything and it's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Juan
Yeah, I
Carlos.
wanted to say about the mortgage. You can get a property with a mortgage as long as you have, for example, if you are going to buy a house and that house is 1 million euros, costs 1 million euros, you can get a mortgage for the half of it, 500,000, as long as you get the other half without a mortgage. So you can get a house with a mortgage, but just have to make sure that 500,000 are free of debt. Okay, just to say that to clarify that what I said before, that is without a mortgage. Yes, you can have a
Yes.
mortgage, but you have to get at least 500,000 free of mortgage.
Exactly. You can have the mortgage for the extra amount of the 500,000 euros.
Okay.
So things that we need to clarify that I see a lot of mistakes when people come to my office is, for example, Golden Visa is true that doesn't ask you to be here an amount of time in order to renew. So as long as you maintain the investment, you don't have any problem to renew it, even if you haven't been here for 6 months, because all the other residencies ask you to be here for 6 months. But the Golden Visa doesn't. But if your main goal is Spanish passport or permanent residency, these two kind of goals that people have when they come here, that is not so, that advantage is not that important for you, because if your main goal is the Spanish passport or the permanent residency, you will have to be here in order to be able to get one or the other. So a golden visa, it will always be renewable. After the first 2 years that they will give it to you, they will give it to you directly for 5 years, okay? But really, if you are looking for the permanent residency or the long-term European Union or the Spanish passport, you need to check about the limits of that kind of permit. So, for example, the European Union permanent residency only allows you to be here outside Spain 10 months in those 5 years. So your golden visa will be okay and you will be able to renew it always, but you will never be able to get the European Union long-term residency if you have been outside a lot, because they are only allowed to be outside 10 months in the last 5 years. And the same with the Spanish passport. The law doesn't say anything about the Spanish passport and time that you can be outside, but the courts have said that the normal thing is to be outside 3 months per year, more or less. And if it's more, they will study your case and they will decide about your case. So if you have been 4 months outside, you have possibilities. But if you have been 9 months outside, you don't have a chance to apply for the passport. And this is very important for you to know, because a lot of golden visa comes here and thinks that in 2 years they will be able to apply, and they won't. Another important thing is, and very, very important thing, it is how you buy the property regarding a marriage. For example, if you are a marriage couple, okay, and you are buying the property so we have two kind of economic regimes in the marriage, okay, that we know more or less in Spain. That is separación de bienes, so goods separate. How do you say in English? Separate.
I think that will be like o gananciales, that is the joint one, will be community, okay,
Yeah,
the community
yeah,
regime.
exactly.
And if not, it's just the other kind of regime that is separated, that it doesn't.
Exactly. So if you have separated regime, and you are buying the property 50-50, you will not comply with the requirements, because none of you will have the property of 500,000 euros. If you have the goods that are joined, it will be okay if you buy 50-50. And if you have separated, but only one is buying, you will be okay, because the other will come as a family. But you don't imagine how many mistakes we see regarding this. You have to check what is your economic regime in your marriage, okay? And check very well how you buy it. if you are buying just one of you, you will never get mistaken, okay? Because the other one will come as family member and you will not have a problem. But if you are buying 50 and 50, check very well that you don't have a regime that separates what you have, because then you will not comply with the requirements, okay? Also, well, also be careful with companies. With companies, also, sometimes they get mistaken. You can buy through a company, even the last, like the last understanding from the law, it is that even if you don't have more than the majority of the company, so even that you have minority, 30% of the shares, and you buy a 500, the company buys a 500,000 euros apartment, they were approving this, okay? So until what I know, it was okay, but only for one person. So only if that person that has the 30% of the company is applying for the golden visa, no one will be able to apply, even if they have 60%, because it's not with a company of 500,000 euros, a lot of people will be able to comply with the requirements. So, and another thing that is very important too are the family members. All their sons or daughters also can be included, older than 18 and older than 21, if they are economic dependent. So if they are studying, or even if they are not studying but they are not working, and you can show that you pay expenses for them, they will be okay, and they will get residency and work permit. So all the family members, the residency and work permit, and the ones included are the spouse, your children, even if they are older than 18, if they are economic dependents, and your parents also, if they are economic dependents. So it is a very good visa. It is not always necessary. Maybe with the non-lucrative, as I said before, it is enough, okay? Depending in the advantages and in the goals that you have. That is the main job of your lawyer. We ask you what you need. We ask you what you want in short term and in long term. If you want to work, for example, and you want to start here a company, then golden visa will be much better than non-lucrative. But if you don't want to work and you want Spanish nationality, so you need to stay here, non-lucrative will be enough. So it depends in your circumstances that one or the other will be the best option for you. And of course, then you can change. You can come with a golden visa, and if you sell your property, you can change to a non-lucrative visa after a year, or the other way around. So it is not a decision that you will have to follow until your permanent residency or until your Spanish passport. But it is true that a good study of the circumstances will give you a better idea of what you can and what you can't. Do you want to comment on anything, Juan?
Just to say that this kind of procedures gets approved really fast. It will be approved within 20 working days. Okay, and if you are already in Spain as a tourist, you can apply directly here. Right now, because of the COVID restrictions, this is a problem because people cannot come as a tourist and apply directly in here. But in any case, when the restrictions are going to be lifted, then we will be able to apply for it right here, and they are approved really fast. However, we have to bear in mind that there may be requirements on the middle, so we shouldn't apply when we are already 60 days here in Spain. We should apply as soon as possible. For this, what we suggest is we can progress with some things before you come to Spain. For example,
Exactly.
if you are planning to buy a property, you have chosen the property, you know which one is the house of your dreams in Spain, or the house that you want to choose for an investment, or you're going to make a bank investment in Spain. What we do is we progress, we move forward with a power of attorney, and we get the NIE number, the foreigners numbers of identification. We get everything done before the bank, and so when you come to Spain as a tourist and you want to apply for you want to buy the property and get the taxes done from the property, and you want to get everything, you have already done half of the work. Okay, so everything is done for you to move faster. So what we advise is make your research very well before. Try to move as forward as you can. Don't gather the documents that you need until you are sure that when you are going to apply, because the documents expire. So it's a shame that some people get this kind of permit rejected just because their criminal records were out of date, expired, or because the wife's marriage certificate expired. So remember, all the legal documents expire within the criminal records within 3 months, for example, and your documents have also a short-term expiration date. So don't gather or don't use the documents that were issued before, like a year ago or something. So prepare everything before moving on. And if you can move forward with a power of attorney and a lawyer in Spain to advance with the NIE number that you will need, okay, to buy a property, you cannot do it just like with the passport. You will need to get either a tax identification number or an NIE, so you can pay taxes for buying the property, okay? And if we move forward with that, you will save a lot of time that will be out of the time that you're going to get to apply for the permit in Spain. I think that this is one of the things that people should bear in mind. I don't know what you think, I know.
Yes, exactly. And another thing that I remember that in the periods where they've been tougher, because this is like this, sometimes and in some periods they are, or depending in the person that resolves your case, they are tougher than some other times. When we advise you, we ask you to be like the more correct as possible, just in case we get a person that is tougher, okay? And I've seen denials also because they were applying here inside Spain as a tourist, and the people have been more than 90 days in a period of 180 days. So you know that the rule for tourists is being 90 days, but then you need to rest another 90 days in order to come back. A lot of you, well, you don't comply with this, and if you are from a passport that they don't check very much, Canada, US, you come back and forward and you never leave those 90 days. And I've seen denials regarding this, so be careful with that. In that case, maybe it is better to do it from consulate. So you will be you make sure that there is no denial, or at least knowing that it is a little possibility that there is a denial, and have in mind that you will have to go back to the consulate with the same documents, and we will apply from the consulate. So sometimes just knowing the risk and taking the risk is enough. If you know that this can happen and you decide to try from Spain, I will say you okay, because at least you know the risk. Because it's true that we have also seen approvals in the same situation. So I think a good advice is just telling you what could happen in the worst cases scenario, and having a backup plan. And if that is okay, you will always be sure of what is happening, because what is stressed out more is when something happens that you didn't expect it. So you were 100% sure that your golden visa was going to be approved, and suddenly you get a denial because you didn't thought about this. Then you get a little bit lost. And especially when you come with families and the children start schools and everything. Start school. So yes, we are saying things that could happen, so you can work ahead and be able to avoid them. Also, questions that you usually have: if your children can go to a public school, yes, they can. They don't have to be necessarily in a public school. You need to have a private insurance, but if you start working, you can cancel it if you want, because you will have the public insurance, but remember to hire it again if you stop working or if you stop being the administrator of a company. And also, we've seen that in the renewals, because you can be time outside, if you've been outside more than 6 months, they always ask again for criminal records. This is also a good thing for you to know for a renewal, okay? Because you can be outside a lot. If you've been outside a lot, submit again criminal records. And I'm telling you this because a requirement, if you don't have it and they ask for it, they give you only 10 days. So go ahead and do it before, because 10 days goes very quickly in this kind of documents that takes longer to get them and get the apostille or the legalization and then the translation.
Yeah.
I think that we have talked a lot about the main issues, right, Juan?
Yeah, I would just add about the economical means that apart from the investment,
exactly,
you need to have economical means to support you and your family. And for the investors, they ask for more. So apart from having the property in Spain or the bank account or the debt or the shareholder or the shares, you will also have to show that you have 400% of the prem, that is like a range that you have to have in Spain. That will be like 30,000 euros for the main applicant, and 10,000 euros we say is less, but for any family member. So if you are one main applicant and 2 family members, they will ask like 50,000 euros, for example, okay? Just to make sure that you meet the requirements. It's less, but if you want to succeed, then they are going to ask for it. I think that that's something that you have to have in mind. And yeah, I think that we have covered almost all the general topics regarding the golden visa.
Okay, perfect. So then we go to questions. Maybe we have a little less because today was interview, but we answer the questions that we have and then we will be finished. Raquel, do you show us questions or do I keep? Yes. Do I need a police report for modificación to cuenta ajena? No. So remember, every resident after a year can modify to cuenta ajena, or even a student also, maybe he's a student and is modifying from a student visa to cuenta ajena. In any modification of these ones that I've told you, you don't need criminal records. Normally, when you need criminal records, once you are resident here, is when you are a family member of a European Union citizen and you modify because you haven't been 3 years or together, or if you are a son or daughter because you are independent economically. In this case, because when you apply for residency, you don't submit criminal records. When you modify to the normal, it can be cuenta ajena, cuenta propia, so the independent residency, you will have to submit criminal records. But in all the modifications from a normal residency, which is not the family member of a European Union citizen, to cuenta ajena, including the student visa modification to cuenta ajena, you don't need criminal records. Kathy, okay, this is for you, Juan.
Okay, Kathy Hobbes, she says, I am applying for a tarjeta comunitaria tu pareja de hecho. My boyfriend has a temporary work contract, so that I should. So what should I turn as a proof of income? Do I also need to turn in proof of him having savings? If so, how much money should he show? Okay, so it depends on, for example, which amount of money you are getting from the work contract. Okay, if you show that money is enough to sustain you both, okay, that is 8,000 euros per year, for example, then you should be okay. But if you have savings, show the savings also, okay? And you can also show that you have, for example, an insurance, a private insurance. So you show, hey, I don't need public health insurance because I have a private insurance, so I don't need to spend money on that. I have savings, or my partner has savings, because the money that they ask for is not the money that you have, like as a foreigner, but the money that your partner has. But if you show that you have money too, then it will be better. So we can show both money from you, money from your partner, and the income that you have. Anything that we show is good. So the more we show, the better.
Exactly. So what we always say is, okay, the main requirement, and for you to be comfortable just with him working and showing that he earns minimum salary, for example, or even a little less, because now minimum salary is high, you will be okay. But you will not have any bad consequence of showing savings. It's always going to be better. So don't hesitate in putting more economic means than the minimum, because it will always help you. But if you don't have, don't worry, because if he is earning around 800 euros per month, it will be fine, okay, for both of you. It's allowed to work remotely if applying for non-lucrative visa. Well, this is a very good question, and we also have it. So I'm going to tell you my understanding of the situation, okay? Immigration has to do a clarification on this. Before COVID, they didn't even understand what was the remote work, okay? Now they are going to be more aware, and we are trying to get an clarification from them. Before, okay, my experience is that before 2 years ago, more or less, 3 years ago, no, even 2 years ago, they were approving non-lucrative, even showing that you were working remotely. The problem was that they were approving these non-lucrative visas with remote contracts, even with people that didn't have these savings of 30,000 euros. They were showing the remote contract, okay, showing that they will be earning in the year around 30,000 euros or more, and they were approving the visas. And that was wrong, because the law says that you need to have the money, because what happens if your company doesn't pay you? You don't have the money anymore. So that's why you need to have it in advance, and that was a mistake from consulates. But when they correct this mistake, there was a clarification letter from the Ministry of Affairs sent to the consulate, which has not been published because it's not really correct, and that's why it's not been published, saying not to approve any non-lucrative with a remote contract. But this is because they don't even, in Spain, is not even legislated. They don't know really legally how to understand this remote work, because it's not defined. We don't know what is remote work. It is writing an email, you need a work permit, or so, because it's not defined, just they solve the problem like this in the consulates. No, if I know that you are working remotely, I don't approve it. What I say, because it's not clear what is remote, what are remote contracts and what is allowed really. I advise, if you can, not to mention it, because we have non-lucrative denied, knowing that you are going to work remotely, but we also have freelance visas denied, because they were saying that contracts working remotely were not work. So they are saying no to one option or the other, because they haven't cleared their minds and do a clarification for all of us to know what happens with the remote contract. So my recommendation is not to mention what they are not even know if it's okay or not. That is what I say, because it's not defined by law. I hope you understand. It is difficult for you to understand that immigration is not clear about that, but it's that way. In Spain, immigration law is not as advanced and as in other countries, which they have much more immigration, like in the UK or in the US. And because of that, some things we also always have to explain to immigration and find a special solution, because that is there is no a solution in our law or in the directivas from immigration clarifying things. Sorry for this long explanation, but it's difficult to explain it. Look, Juan Carlos, that you deal a lot with the consulate. This is for you.
Okay, this is from Melissa, and she's asking, are non-lucrative visas still being issued to the Americans? Is there really a requirement that you cannot have a mortgage in the US to qualify? Gracias. So, yes, they are still issuing non-lucrative permits to Americans. This hasn't changed. But what has changed is that the consulates are not working depending on which state you are. Okay, so some consulates are working half of the time. Some consulates need you to apply with an appointment, and they are not issuing appointments. And some other consulates, like Houston, they are allowing you to do everything online, and then you go to an appointment. So to answer your question, yes, you can apply as an American to a non-lucrative permit, and it will depend a lot on the consulate that you are applying for, which requirements you have. And it's not true that you don't have to have a mortgage. I know that some consulates ask to see what kind of money you have, but this is not a requirement from the law. The law doesn't say anything about having or not having a mortgage. As long as you prove that you have the economical means to apply for the non-lucrative permit, they should approve it, okay? They could ask about mortgages and everything, but the law just says that either you have the periodical income to support you to live 1 year in Spain, or, and this is very important, or not and, or economical means to live in Spain for 1 year, like savings or credits or whatever you have that prove that you have that amount of money for 1 year and for your family members, then you can apply for this kind of permit. But we have to check the requirements of each consulate because they vary a lot.
Exactly. Can we enter without a TA but a current processing visa? Maybe they are. I was previously an auxiliary but never got my TA. Now I'm getting my new visa but it's processing and I'm flying back while it is. Will the paperwork along with the acceptance letter be enough to get in my country? I don't think so. So from what what I will need to understand in this question is if she was a student visa, because with an auxiliar de conversación she is a student, and just she is renewing. If she is renewing, yes, okay, we could understand that they can enter. You should explain it very well because you don't have the TS. And if and that's why I say no in the beginning, because if it's for a new visa, you cannot enter, only for renewal. So if you were a student visa, you just didn't get the plastic because of whatever reason, which you should, but well, this happens. I have a lot of clients that didn't, and now you are renewing it. Explaining things very well, I think that they should allow you to enter, because you are already a student and you are just renewing. If it's a brand new student visa, it is a risk thing to try to come, because really you will be entering as a tourist. Okay. Muchas gracias to you both. Okay, this is that they are not. Sarah. Hi, is it currently possible to apply for pareja de hecho during this time? The office appears not to be accepting appointments. Madrid. Yes, it is, right, Juan?
Yes. Remember that for this kind of procedures, you don't submit the paperwork.
Exactly.
We do it online, okay? And you have to do it online. So you get all the documents that you need, and once you have it all, you have the forms, you have every document that they ask for, then you submit the paperwork for electronic register or directly online at the Comunidad de Madrid registration, And when they check that you have everything, they will issue an appointment for you. So right now we are having appointments this month on July and appointments on September. I think that on August they will not be working as long as usual, but July and September they are issuing appointments, so they are working now.
And remember the possibility of doing pareja estable. So remember that the familiar comunitario permit, you have 3 kinds of relationship that give you the family member of a European Union citizen residency. One is marriage, another one is pareja de hecho, and the other one is a stable relationship or a stable couple. If you are able to show that you've been a couple living together for a year, but not just the empadronamiento, please, more other things like a bank account together, or insurance in which the other one, life insurance in which the other one is the beneficiary, or of course children together, or anything that can show that you were not just sharing an apartment, that you were in a relationship. It can be enough to apply for the family member European Union citizen residency, even if you don't have the pareja de hecho. Just in case anyone that is listening to us hasn't listened to this yet, because I've always explaining this, and we are doing a lot of those. Okay, Left Gen says, I'm changing my student program from the ministry to a private one. They are asking me to apply for a new visa, but I know that I should just renew the TIE card here since I'm already here. I did it last year, renewing and not applying for a new visa. Should I renew my student TIE, or should I really need to apply for a new type of visa? No, you are right. If you are changing to another auxiliar de conversación program, even if it's not from the ministry, it is a quite normal renewal, and you can do it from here. In addition, even if you now were starting to study medicine, okay, that is something very, very different, that you are changing the kind of studies. Now, even new visas can be applied from here. The only difference is that a new visa, so when you are really changing studies, you have to do it 30 days before expiration, while a renewal, you can do it from 60 days before to 90 days after. But in this case, if it's an auxiliar de conversación program, but you are changing from the ministry to a public one, it is a normal renewal, and you are okay even in the 90 days after. This is for you, Juan. Mohamed,
Okay.
is there any chance
to receive my TIE from Extranjería after losing my passport? I already submitted the request to have the card, and it's ready to receive, but they say I have to submit the original passport physically. Okay, so you have to file a report for the police, okay, stating that you have lost your passport. That passport is going to be reported as stolen or lost. Okay, they have to have this report, and then you have to get a new passport from your country. Okay, so together with the new passport and the report from the police, you will be able to get your TIE without any problem.
Exactly. And if you need help, let us know. We can help you also with that. Okay, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. Really, you need to take a new passport. But in addition, as Juan said, you need to report to the police the loss of the passport. Says Nomadica Yoga. I have a couple questions. Thank you. I am from the US. My cuenta propia visa expires 31st of July, and I want to renew it, but I have been baja in Social Security. I am worried I will be denied the renewal because I've been baja too long. Is there anything I can do to improve my chances? Yes, you can. So, second question, I am considering modifying to the non-lucrative visa. Can I have a renewal and a modification process at the same time? Thank you very much. Okay, good questions. First one, you have had to be de alta 6 months at least. Even they will allow you for 3 months. Raquel, wait for this 1/3 because I'm concentrated in the 2 first. Please. So if you've been 6 months de alta, you are going to be okay. If you've been 3, you are going to be more or less okay. We have to do the course de Conoce tus leyes and to have the report of informe de integración. Okay, if you have less, it is very, very, very few. I don't think you will have less. In any case, I think that is important also in the cuentas propias is income. So if you've been the alta but you didn't have income, it's also bad circumstance. What you can do, you need to do invoices. You need to invoice as much as possible in this time. A little trick we sometimes try, and we cannot guarantee you, is doing it a little later, 2 months, because we can do it 90 days after. If you do it like 60 days after and you keep being enrolled in Social Security and having income, so doing invoices, working, it can help. Regarding the changing to the non-lucrative and the cuenta propia renewal, it is a little difficult because normally we say that you can do both things, several things at the same time. But for the non-lucrative approvals, they ask you not to be enrolled. But for the cuenta, not to be enrolled in Social Security because you cannot work with a non-lucrative. On the other hand, the other way around, they ask for the cuenta propia renewal. You need to be enrolled in Social Security. So in this case, it will be difficult to apply for both. Another option is trying to apply at the same time for the non-lucrative and saying that you will commit to sign down, or I don't know how you say when you are not in Social Security, of Social Security whenever they approve it, because you are renew it just in case you are renewing the cuenta propia just in case. Okay, Raquel, I'm ready for the third one. Or the also, if I renew after the expiration day in the 90 days after, are there any penalties I need to be aware of? What happens for the time between expiration and renewal deadline? Okay, good question. It could be a penalty. There is a fine described in the law, but I've never seen people applying, being fined. But I always recommend to do it before, just in case. But in your case, if you comply with the requirements, much better doing it before because of this fine. But in your case, it's special because if you didn't, if you were not sign up in Social Security, you need to try to gain some time. And a trick could be, as I told you, to do it to do the renewal 60 days after, which is not a guarantee. So in this case, even that I advise the other thing, in this case, I will recommend you maybe to do it some time later. But I don't know if you want to do a consultation. I have to see really what are the benefits or your profits from the periods that you were enrolled, and also how long you were not enrolled, to give you an exact strategy. Okay, Juan, this is for you.
Okay, this is from Jason, and he says, "Hey, hi, I'm studying in Germany. I'm a non-European citizen. Can I accept a remote internship from a company in Spain? If yes, do they need an IE and a Spanish Social Security from me? I believe if my university is in Germany, then the law that applies is Germany." Okay, we have several laws to apply here. So we have the migration part and we have the labor law. So it depends. The internship can be done through an agreement or can be done through a contract. If you are going to have a contract, then what applies for it will be the law that of the country that is offering this job, where they are offering you the job. So the German law will apply for this case. Okay, if you are doing an agreement for a university, then it will not matter. You can do the internship remotely, and there will not be any consequences. You will not need like a special permit because it's not a job contract, but it will depend if you are getting an internship through an agreement, a private agreement with no remuneration or at least not a salary, or if you're getting a contract. If you're getting a contract, then you will have to do it with an immigration procedure, or if not, applying through the German law, because that's the law that should apply for it.
And on the other hand, just for you to know, if this was an internship and it was not online, was not remote, you could have the possibility, because you are a student in Germany, so you are a student a degree or a master's degree, to apply for the internship permit that we are always explaining. So it depends. In some cities, first they are asking for the student visa. One knows because deals with that, and after the work permit, the internship work permit. But in others, they are okay. So just for anyone that is in that circumstance, know that if you are studying abroad and you get an internship here, we can get you a residency here. Okay, I don't know if there are more questions. Anna Demon, hello guys, I hope you are all right. I have a quite specific question. I'm going to apply for my residency renewal through the internet. And to my knowledge, I have to use the following web. Let's see the web. But lately I have heard people saying that Mercurio has several problems and that there is better website we can use for applying to renew, which is REC, the same one used for applying to the búsqueda de trabajo. Found the following address, Red Sara.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you guys think? Is it possible to use the REC website to renew my student visa? And would you recommend it over Mercurio? Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, for this, you can use both of them. Okay, usually for renewals, what you have to use is Mercurio Renovaciones. Okay, Mercurio Renewals, because this will detect the file that you already have ready to renew. So you can just upload the documents that they ask you for, and you have the REC or the SARA. That is the general registration for electronic procedures in the internet. You can send anything you want in there. Okay, but that will not give you the documents to upload. You will have to upload everything into 3 files, maximum 5 files, and it has a lot of more restrictions into the amount of megabytes that each file should have. So you can use both of them. But remember, you have to use an electronic service in order to renew some kind or to apply for some kind of permit. For example, the búsqueda de empleo. You cannot do it physically or through register. You have to do it online. Always you have to do it online. And over Mercurio and Sara, it depends in the moment. Sometimes it's working better Mercurio, but you're supposed to use Mercurio. If it doesn't work, go for Sara.
Exactly. It is a paid remote internship, Jason. Well, but if it's paid, yes, it's like Juan said, you have to check really with the German authorities. And if it's a paid one, but it's like ayuda al estudiante because of the convenio, it will be okay even, right, Juan?
That's it, yes.
Okay. So any other, thank you so much, Le. Thank you. Okay, I think we are done. Thank you. Thank you, as I always say, for the questions, because I think there are very interesting questions and it gives us like ideas to share with you, because we know what are really your doubts. I don't know. We will let you know when we do the interview that was from today. Let's see when the family that we were interviewing is ready. Maybe tomorrow we already can do it. And well, as always, we are here to ask you for questions. If you have questions during the week, or you post them so we can talk to them in the next live, or you get a consultation and we do it through the consultation. And also with the Spanish questions, every Tuesday there are lives in Spanish, and I sometimes do a live in Spanish too. So, well, let us know your doubts. Thank you very much. We speak soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Juan and Raquel.